What steps do you take to move from one place to another where you mine? That's really hard, and a lot of mines get it wrong. You didn't just hit it big with your Parker Schnabel. What he found was very old and buried deep in the frozen ground. It gave everyone on the group chills. A simple dig turned into a battle against floods, ice, and something that wasn't gold that was hidden. Millions of people were almost lost in a pit that wouldn't stop drowning. Machines sank and pumps stopped working. Let us take you back to the time when Parker's digger hit something smooth, strange, and not like this before. Hidden things in the permafrost. It had been years since Parker Schnabel had made a big claim. He had one now. But Parker knew this land was going to be really dangerous. Everyone thought he would be really pumped. The search for wealth turned into a muddy mess with ice, floods, and dead bodies. Really old bones. It was like something was waiting deep below the surface. Someone or something should never have been moved. It was all about that sweet bright metal at first. The digger hit something solid though as it worked its way through a frozen patch. Not trash or rock. It was smooth and bent, and it was stuck in thick ice. It was pulled out and cleaned by the crew. Not shiny or made of metal. It was the tusk of a giant mammoth. It was thousands of years old, but it looked so new that it made your arms stand up. It wasn't the only one. The land had more truths to tell. A lot of white, frozen secrets. The kind that fans go crazy over. This clean ivory could be worth a lot of money. He didn't sell it right away, though. He didn't want the huge amount of paperwork that came with it. Having to deal with this situation, but it seems like I'm always in this kind of position. He wanted to hear the tale. He kept the tusks, cleaned them, and put them in his own collection, next to big teeth and other strange things. These weren't just props. They showed that there was more to the land than just gold. But the dirt wasn't done surprising people. During a different dig, his bucket caught what looked like a thick tree root. It wasn't a tree, though. It was yet another tusk. The same strange things were found by other teams. Tony Beats got one from somewhere else. It looked like a jawbone at first, but it was actually another frozen artifact from a very long time ago. These things were older than the gear or coins they were after. The goal was to find the gold, but what time had hidden was the real treasure. After some time in Australia, Parker found a copy of the biggest gold nugget that had ever been found. It was known as the Welcome Stranger. The old people had to cut this thing up into 3 pieces just to weigh it. The real one is long gone, turned into bars, but there are still 2 copies. That made Parker remember that this game was more than just ounces. Legendary things were what they were after. Then the real mess started. Parker thought he had found the big one at a place called the Wolf Cut. Millions of people are just waiting below. The good thing about where the pump is now is that it's high enough to be dry and the water table is low enough that the suction hose should still be in the water if that breaks over there. It took him a while to get the tools to work because the ground was ready to fight back. A lot of water, in buckets. It began as a small stream with some mud in it. Then the pit's walls broke down. Pumps stopped working. It all turned into a lake. Machines got stuck. Bury pay dirt. Loss of millions. Parker wasn't even there when it happened. His crew sped off. They got more pumps, lines, and a deep hole to drain the water. For a while, it looked like they were in charge. The ground, though, had other plans. The water couldn't get through because the ground was frozen. Things changed, though, when the ice broke. A secret tunnel appeared. It looked like a dam had been opened up. It poured with water. They fought it. All night, 3 pumps worked. Large amounts of water were thrown away. It's still not enough. When they got there in the morning, the main pump wasn't there. It turned out to be under 4 feet of water. To get it out, someone had to paddle across. Parker was going for a 30-foot deep pay layer that was hidden deep. But they had to cut through ice at the edge of an old pond. More water came out of each scoop. Lost more money every hour. Something was fixed. Another one showed up. A wall came down. Then the pump. Next, the other wall. The group worked hard. The time went by. They hoped to get more than 1,000 ounces out. That's over $14 million. A single mistake could mean the end of the season. After that, they found gold. Not just a few tiny dots, a whole run. Things like this make crews forget about being cold. Almost everything changed. Even though Parker had won, he owed a huge amount of money. $15 million. That's what he owed. Tools, gas, fixes, and a crew. Every little mistake cost money. Winter was coming quickly. We still needed to work on the claim. Tyson, Parker's right-hand man, had to move the 90,000-pound wash plant. Before dawn, they had to take it apart, move it uphill, and put it back together again. There's no room for mistakes. Tyson barely got through it, but the fight showed how close things were to breaking down. It was over after one broken bolt or one bad move. The gold started coming in again as soon as they started digging again. More than 8,000 ounces. That was $14 million. A very large haul. Still, every hour was a risk. It wasn't just rocks that season. It was war against the cold, the wet ground, the clock, and failures. Parker looked for gold. But what he really learned was how crazy digging can be. The earth pushed back more as they went deeper. The ice turned into mud. The mud turned into rivers. The pumps were on all the time. The crew looked like they were dead. Feeling worn out and dirty, but stuck inside. Some days, they had to drain 10 million gallons of water just to keep working. Some days, they saw it come back in like a flood. And just when things seemed to be getting better, something bad happened again. It rained at the wash plant site. The machine began to sink. So it wouldn't fall over, the crew had to pull in wood. Every day, Tyson and the rest of the team worked. There are no breaks or fast cuts, only sweat and mud. Before the ground froze, they only had one chance to hit the gold. There were no cheers when they finally got up to the clean-out tray and saw the pile of gold. Instead, they just looked at each other with relief, tiredness, or even shock in their eyes. I got the 750 back, which is the best news I've had all week. So I can turn this wash plant back on, and we can run at 220 yards per hour again. The total for the season was 8,118. That's gold worth $14 million. Parker also had $364,000 worth of gold on the line, though. It worked out even though he took a chance and moved the wash plant. He still had to pay the bill. Every machine had to be fixed. Everyone on the team had to be paid. The process was very big. Even more pressure, and he was still after more. Parker had another good chance on the Dominion claim, but the land was rough. It was hotter. There was a lot of tension. The plant was going to be moved again. Tyson made the plan. Before the next sunrise, get it up and going. One of their machines weighed more than 90,000 pounds. A big loader helped them move things up a steep hill. They did it, even though it wasn't easy or safe. They put it back together piece by piece. Frame, conveyor, and bin. It had to be perfect all the time. The group took a deep breath when it stood tall on its new pad. They felt ready for the first time in weeks. It was only time to wash the next load of pay dirt. All eyes were on Parker because $364,000 was sitting in gold and everything was in order again. There was gold there. But could he keep it up? It seemed like the storm was over, but then someone did something that shook the mining world in a whole new way. A return that was written in cold ground. Todd Hoffman just dropped some big news that should wake up everyone who digs for gold. What did he do? He just bought a brand new gold mine in the Yukon. Yes. You can lose a boot and $1 million before lunch up there in the wild, cold place. The web did not waste time. A lot of people began to talk or yell that Todd might be planning another run for the camera. A return, a new group of people, and a whole new set of tools to break down in the middle of nowhere. Perhaps. Todd wasn't just a guy in the background of that gold show. He played a part in making everything happen. When the cameras were just getting ready, he came up with the idea to go after shiny dirt in Alaska with his father, Jack, and get a film crew to follow them. All the way through season 8, that guy was right in the middle of everything, making big plans and running into even bigger problems. Sometimes there were wins, but other times you could feel disasters through the TV. Claims that were quickly forgotten, like a puddle in the sun. During the job, some robots coughed up their last breath. Fights, yelling, and thoughts hitting rocks. A lot of people watched it all. Some cheered for him. Some people shook their heads, but they kept listening. A lot of them stayed after he left the set. When Todd left the show after season 8, it changed. It lost some of its rough and tumble spirit. Fans took notice. They didn't see the Hoffmans rolling through the ice and mud like a circus act that was hungry for gold. But Todd showed up again after a few years. "Okay, Dad. Get ready for the last cleanup, why don't you? We are going to pull mats and bring them up here. That's all there is to it. One last clean up, and then winterize. Okay." He tried to pull another collapsing mine back from the edge with a new series. The name of it was Hoffman Family Gold. There are no fancy words there. That TV show ran for 3 years, finishing in the summer of 2024. The last nail was a short blog post that was taken down faster than snow and spring. Todd said that the network didn't keep their end of the deal. That was it. Nothing more to film, and no more team. The truth is hidden from everyone. Rates may have dropped too low. Todd might have wanted more power behind the scenes. It's possible that someone didn't want another season of broken hopes and excavators. Not much has changed. Todd didn't leave when the show did. The rich world kept calling to him. He went public again at the end of March 2025. Said he got a gold mine in the Yukon and might be thinking about getting another one. He was very clear and didn't just hint at it. That was enough to make the rumors fly. People began to guess. Did they just want to clean up for another season, or was this just about mining? A few fans cheered. Bring the group back. Bring back the chaos. Some looked more closely. How was he going to pay for everything? Yukon mines aren't cheap. It's also not fun to move dirt when it's that cold. We could say he found backers. There's a chance that the TV people are talking again. He might have also done well with one of his side projects. What about the Yukon? A lot of people dream about that spot. It's not easy, though. It's crazy, full of old stories, and a lot harder than it looks. It snows early, the roads are closed, and everything costs a lot. That's not just Todd chasing rocks if he's putting down roots up there. He's agreeing to deal with cold wind, strict rules, and big bills. Also, Todd isn't going to be quiet. Like breadcrumbs, been leaving hints. Flying over large areas of land without any voiceover. A few shaky posts here and there about goals and dreams, but never the whole picture. Someone saw him looking at a digger last month. Not just looking around, but really interested. When you shift, you have to work even longer hours at night. They're worn out. Even though they're tired, we have to keep going until we reach the goal, especially since our tools keep breaking down and we're losing hours. Most of the time, that kind of window shopping means work is coming. Old followers remember the mess, the broken machines, the crews that got stuck, and the hopes that went off track before breakfast. They also remember the faces of his dad Jack and his close partner Dave. They were a big part of why the first show worked. If Todd gets them together again, things could get wilder. Some people still remember the crazy moves, the big promises that didn't come true, and the trips to faraway places that turned out to be expensive holidays with nothing to show for them. People still laugh or grow when they are in Guyana. That one was a giant mistake for people looking for gold. However, people would not stop looking at it. Todd may have become smarter. There may be a new plan, more thought, and fewer breaks. But no one turns on the screen for quiet talks and easy spreadsheets. They want trucks to get stuck in mud while they are almost out of gas. That's what made everyone talk. Some fans even made jokes. Parker Schnabel may have sold some rusty gear for a very high price. Some crazy things that Todd might have done to get rich, like selling t-shirts or dropping music CDs. People online love making up crazy stories. There was no public word from the TV network. There isn't a word of a new show or season, but it's hard to miss the smoke. Things will move if Todd brings the whole crew back or if someone points a camera at that Yukon dirt. Todd still has that spark. People are still interested in the name alone. He makes noise, whether you believe in him or not. He has a big swing. Many people are interested in him, whether he is getting gold or dragging a dead dozer through frozen ground. Not since it's always pretty, but since it's never dull. For now, this is the only thing that is certain. The miner Todd Hoffman bought a new one. There might be another one coming. He's been flying, shooting, and maybe even thinking about going back for another round under the lights. Not a single promise or big speech. But it's loud enough for people to start talking again. The big names got all the attention in the news, but one man worked hard behind the scenes until it all hit him. The kid who stayed in the taxi. Since he was a youngster, Mike has been moving rocks and fixing gear. Not even at a job in the backyard. It was Yukon level, very cold, and machines were breaking down gold mines. Still, you wouldn't even notice. Mike stayed where the dirt hits the boots while his sister and brother moved up. He was always in the background and his father's shadow. In the world of mines, his dad is a giant. They ran huge websites, made a lot of money, and yelled orders like a drill master. The name is known by everyone. It is loud, proud, and worth more than $15 million. Mike makes about $500,000 a year. Before you know it, that seems like a lot of money, but the old man has saved up a lot more. That's not even counting how much his brothers make from running the business. Mike was never after attention. He is not into cameras. Mike stayed in the cab of those big rigs and pushed dirt and tons of gravel while other people showed off. He was able to drive anything, fix almost anything, and make sure the crew never fell behind. Mikey, are you okay? I'm okay. Are you okay? I'm okay. Please get my dad. This is a really bad problem, so call my dad right now. However, ability did not mean less stress. His dad was strict. It was not okay to make mistakes. It was the quiet that hurt the most. No sound on the radio. His dad calls him. Nothing. It's not because of a bad signal. No answer at all. A big machine broke down one day. His dad called him once and twice. Mike has still not replied. Then there was loud, sharp screaming. Mike finally answered, but his voice was cold, and he said he wasn't interested. There were cameras rolling, but Mike stopped them and told the group to back off. His role wasn't a lie. After that, things went badly. Mike had to move a wash plant. A huge machine that weighs more than 25 tons. Tried to get around a tight turn. The plant fell over, sending dust and steel flying everywhere. It all hit the ground hard. The team jumped in to film it, but Mike wouldn't have any of it. Told him straight out, touch that camera, and it would be gone. When his dad got there, he saw how bad the damage was. It cost about $300,000 to build that wash machine. It was clear from the way he looked. Mike told his dad that he hadn't been speeding and that it was just bad luck, but his dad wasn't listening. Every look and word they didn't say showed how tense things were between them. Mike is unique in more ways than one. He does more than just work at the mine. That's what he does next. In the Middle Ages, he learns to fight. From another time, there were armor, swords, and full-on fights. It's not what you'd expect, but it works. Mike goes away while other people show off online. There were no new posts, pictures, or family talk. No one knows if he's married, dating, or just not talking about it. He began digging when he was 13. Everything I know I learned on the job. Didn't ask for a title. Didn't need praise. They kept coming back every day, year after year. Real, quiet, and steady. Does Mike have something to hide, or is he just sick of being seen? Leave your ideas below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like.